Hey, Shalom. I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahawashi, Yahawashi. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth. Learning or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom. Out here in the last days, man, you just want to get right and come back to Yahawashi, Yahawashi before time runs out. You know the devil have coming with great wrath because he have a short time. And yeah, salvation is nearer than we believed. So we got to get right and come back to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, the 12 tribes of Israel. Because there's a lot of blood on these people's hands. You know, the scribes, the chief priests and officers said crucify him. You know, the chief priests, elders, and scribes as well are the ones that sold out Yahawashi and got him crucified. So all that blood is on their hands. That's why they said, when they realized what, you know, like they said, it's like you're paraphrasing, his blood is on our hands, and his blood is on you guys' hands, because what you guys did, our people did to Yahawashi, you know. So today I want to get into that Joel chapter 3, and I'm gonna start from the top. This is Joel chapter 3. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. So that's taking away the captivity. That's what that's going into. And I will also gather all the nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat. And I will plead with them there for my people, for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Yeah, so we know that this is an end-time prophecy. And, you know, the valley of Jehoshaphat is like Shaphat, is Yahweh's judgment, and he's going to be judging these other nations, you know, and that's what's coming in these last days when Yahawashi comes with the chariots and his angels, and then he gets his elect. Yahawah Radazal, we have that number. Because these curses, they only fit for the children of Israel, scattered across the four corners of the earth. You know, just like in this, you know, right here. And this was the slavery right here, the transatlantic slave trade. They went across the four corners of the earth. You know, trip to America and the Western Hemisphere. You know, they went through the four corners of the earth. You know, that's what our people have to realize. That's why we can't judge on the outward appearance, because they're scattered. You know, that's why Paul said, "Don't go off genealogies, go by faith." You know. So these Israelis and these Jewish, they're so-called, you know, who are known as the so-called white man. You know, they're not the true descendants of the children of Israel. They're Jewish people. It's like, you know, like, yeah, that they're not the true Jews. Is what I'm trying to say. Yeah, they're Israelis. They don't even call themselves Israelites because they know they can't, because they're not Israelites. You know, and these people, they don't fit the curses, like I was saying, and you know that they helped finance the slave trade. You know, the Neiman brothers, they bought the ships. You know, and it goes back to the stock market. You know, in the New York stock market, and all these banks. You know. Because who owns the banks today? You know, the Rothschilds and these 13 rich families on the earth, the richest families on the earth. You know? I'm going to continue on. You know? Yeah, because for our people, we're scattered across the four corners of the earth through the curses. You know, we were sold into slavery. And, we're serving our oppressors and sold into slavery, like I was saying, and we're treated we're always being oppressed because we're under that oppression. Yeah, so like we're valued as one, you know? Yeah, cause yeah, now I'm gonna get this verse 3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for an harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink. You know, and what this is getting into, man, like the triangular trade during the transatlantic slave trade. That's what was going on right there. A boy for an harlot, making a boy into a harlot, making him dress as a woman, you know, and they sold a girl for wine that they might drink, and then you know, that's plain and simple, you know, and like, yes, because like Yahawah's gathering these armies, man, because this is getting into the Valley of Jehoshaphat, man, you know, the Valley of Jehoshaphat is in the land of Israel, you know, it's like in the time of the book of Kings, and it's also in 2 Chronicles chapter 35, when the Pharaoh Necho, you know, he went against the Assyrians, and King Josiah intervened, and he ended up dying because he didn't listen to Yahawashi, because through the words of the mouth of King Pharaoh Necho, the Pharaoh of Egypt, told him not to do, you know, and he died for that. See, I'm gonna go continue on. Yeah, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coast of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense? And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head? You know, and that's going into the Canaanites that sold our people to these Grecians, man, who are the Edomites. You know, and during the Maccabean period, when our people tried to flee, they also got captured and put into slavery. You know? Con. I'm gonna continue on. Because ye have taken my silver and gold, and have carried it into your temples, my goodly, pleasant things. You know, and then that's getting into like what Titus did in 70 AD, man. They have that in Rome. You know, that statue where they're celebrating, taking their golds, their silver and gold, and carrying it into their temples for their pleasant things. You know, and you know, then that goes into that Psalms. I'll get that, because they're putting their tongues falling upon themselves. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 64 and verse 8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves, and all that see them shall flee away. Yeah, because their own tongue is falling upon themselves. You know, they do it all the time. And that's just an example of showing that ark of Titus that's in Rome. You know. Con. Con, let me continue on. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from the border. You know, and that's what it's getting into, that the Canaanite nations sold our people, you know, into the Grecians, man. You know, the Grecians are Edomites. You know, and then they're not the sons of Japheth. You know, yeah, because the Edomites landed in Greece and Rome, and you know, so it's like in Italy. So it's plain and simple. Behold, I will raise them out. Verse 7. Behold, I will raise them out of the place whither ye have sold them, and I will return recompense upon your own head. And that's our people being delivered, and recompense is coming upon your own head. because we don't want reparations. You know, we want recompense. You know, that's payback. That's vengeance of Yahawashi. You know, if we were getting recompense, then if we were getting reparations, then Esau and these other nations wouldn't have to go into slavery. And then that's not happening. We want recompense, not reparations. Continue on. And I will sell your sons and your daughters into the hand of the children of Judah, and they shall sell them to the Sabians, to a people far off, for Yahawah has spoken it. You know that's slavery. That's what it's getting into, man. Because that's that recompense right there. You know, that's that slavery that you're getting. These other nations, including Esau, Edom, the so-called white man. You know? So I'm going to go down to verse 12. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. You know, and that's what's coming. Judgment's coming. Yahawashi wants blood, not reparations, man. You know? I'm going to go on to verse 13. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come get you down, for the press is full, and the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. And yeah, because their wickedness is great. That's what we see in these last days. A lot of wickedness. You know, Yahawashi is going to have to put a reset button on this place, just like as the days of Noah. Multitudes and multitudes in valley of derision, for the day of Yahawah is near in the valley of decision. Yeah, because the day of Yahawashi is near. You know, that's why the scriptures say, seek Yahawashi while he may be found, because he's coming soon, sooner than later. Verse 15, the sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. Yahawah also shall roar out of Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the heavens and the earth shall shake. But Yahawah will be the hope of his people and the strength of the children of Israel. Yeah, because Yahawashi is going to be, he's our hope in those days. You know, when Jacob's trouble comes, you know, these trials and tribulations, you know, that's when he knows who are his chosen, you know, by having faith in Yahawashi. Yeah, and the heavens and earth shall shake, you know, because they're going into the shakiness, man, the earthquake, you know. So I'm going to go down to verse 19. Egypt shall be desolation. Egypt shall be a desolation, and Edom shall be a desolate wilderness for the violence against the children of Judah, because they have shed innocent blood in their land. Yeah, and that's what Edom has done. The so-called white man, Esau Edom, he shed innocent blood. You know, one to you that buildeth the town off blood. You know, like it says in Habakkuk. You know, because they shed innocent blood in their land. You know, that's what they did to our people, the children of Judah. Verse 20, but Judah shall dwell forever in Jerusalem from the generation to generation. For I will cleanse their blood that I have not cleansed, for Yahawah dwelleth in Zion. You know, that's what the 12 tribes of Israel, you know, Judah and Jerusalem, you know, that they're gonna dwell forever and ever, generation to generation. Yeah, because He's going to cleanse the blood. So now let's get into that. I want to get into that Amos. This is the book of Amos, chapter 1, in verse 6. For thus saith Yahawah, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. And I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the places thereof. And I will cut off the inhabitants from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the scepter from Ashkelon. And I will turn my hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines shall perish, saith Yahawah. Saith the Lord God. Saith the Lord God. For thus saith Yahawah, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, which is another way to say it is Tyre. That's another way to say it. For 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity to Edom, and remember not the brotherly covenant. Yeah, that's what these Canaanite nations did. They didn't remember the brotherly covenant, like how I said in the book of Joel. You know, that's what it was getting into. You know, and yeah, the brotherly covenant that was between Israel and Edom. You know, let's continue on now. Yeah, that was the covenant of the brethren, man. Yeah. And yeah, like the Canaanites, they didn't remember the covenant as well. They didn't remember this brethren covenant. Verse 10, but I will send a fire on the wall of Tyrus, and shall devour the palaces thereof. Thus saith Yahawah, for 3 transgressions of Edom, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishments thereof, because he did pursue his brother with the sword, and did cast off all pity, and his anger did tear perpetually, and he kept his wrath forever. Yeah, because Edom has a perpetual hatred against Judah, and this shows it right here. And he's not going to turn away the punishment thereof, because what he did, he pursued his brother with the sword. You know, it tells you like that's what it get. Esau, Edom got the sword as his blessing. You know, and it tells you in Genesis 27. You know, how he tried to slay his brother you know? How he tried to slay his brother, you know? He's tried to slay his brother Jacob, you know? See if I can get that. Yeah, this is Genesis chapter 27, verse 41. Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand, then will I slay my brother Jacob. Yeah, because he tried to slay, you know, that's what it's getting into. He said, I will slay my brother Jacob. You know, and that's why recompense is coming on Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, for what he has done to Jacob. Let's get that. Get that book of Jeremiah. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 30, and verse 16. I'll start at verse 11. For I am with thee, saith Yahawah, to save thee. Though I make a full end of the nations, whether I have scattered thee, yet will I not make a full end of thee. But I will correct thee in measure, and will not leave thee altogether unpunished. And yeah, that's what judgment is coming on upon these nations. You know, like how it said, recompense is coming upon these nations, man. Salaki, the one's trying to take the poster. Yeah, so he judgment is coming upon these nations, man. Recompense, you know, payback for an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. You know, and for what they did, this is for what they did to Israel. Is why this is happening, man. You know. You know, and our reparation is to make it into the kingdom, man. And that's our reparation too, is payback on these nations for what they did to Israel. So I'm going to go down to verse 16. Therefore, all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thine adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity, and they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee I will give for a prey. Yeah, so it's plain and simple. You're going into slavery for what you did, for putting us in slavery. You know, and you know, all they that devour shall be devoured. The one you devoured, so you shall be devoured as well. You know, like Revelation 13:10. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword. He that go in captivity shall be put into captivity. You know, verse 17. For I will restore health unto thee, and I will heal thee of thy wounds, saith Yahawah, because they called thee an outcast, saying, This is Zion, whom no man seeketh after. And yeah, no man seeketh after this, man, because they call us nobodies, you know? And nobody cares about this, you know? And the word is the healer. And nobody cares about this, though, you know? I'm going to get into that Psalms. Salakia, this is Psalms. But first, let me get that Exodus. Yeah, because blood's going to be upon your hands. So that's why this leads me to Exodus. Chapter 21. Actually, let's get that Genesis first, and then we'll get to that. This is book of Genesis, chapter 9, and verse 6. Whosoever sheddeth a man's blood, by man shall his blood be shed, for in the image of God made he man. So yeah. So what you shed blood, by man shall his blood be shed. So your blood is going to be shed as well, for you shedding blood on the 12 tribes of Israel, for what you did to our people. You know, so that leads me to Exodus chapter 21 and verse 16. And he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. So yeah, you shall surely be put to death. And you ask Esau, the so-called white man, when was he ever sold into slavery? Sold into slavery, man. When was he ever sold into slavery? You know, to be found in someone's hand. You know, to be found in an oppressor's hand, because they don't have oppressors, man. That's the whole point. They don't fit the curses, man. And you ask any so-called white man that, they won't be able to answer that, man. You know? And this is the law right here, man. You shall surely be put to death. And Yahawashi doesn't go against his laws. You know? Because that's all I'm saying. That Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, he can't tell you when his ancestors were in slavery, man. Because they don't know it. You know? Now that leads me to the book of Numbers. Actually, let me I'll get this Numbers chapter 24. You know, I'm gonna start at verse. This is an end time prophecy. This is Numbers chapter 24, in verse 15. And he took up a parable and said, Balaam, son of Beor, has said. I'm starting at 14, Salaki. And now, behold, I go into my people. Come therefore, I will advertise thee what this people shall do to thy people in the latter days. So this is an end-time prophecy in the latter days, man, because this hasn't happened yet. Verse 15, and he took up his parable and said, Balaam, Salaki, the son of Beor, has said, and the man whose eyes are open has said, he has said, which heard the words of God and knew the knowledge of the Most High, which saw the vision of the Almighty falling into a trance, but having his eyes open. So this is a vision which Balak is explaining. Khan. Yeah. So continue on. I shall see him, but not now. I shall behold him, but not nigh. There shall come a star out of Jacob, a scepter shall rise out of Israel, and shall smite the corners of Moab and destroy the children of Sheth. So that star out of Jacob is talking about Yahawashi, you know? And it's going into what he's going to do to these other nations. You know, smite the corners of Moab and destroy the children of Sheth. Verse 18, and Edom shall be a possession. Seir also shall be a possession for his enemies. And Israel shall do valiantly. You know, and they're saying we're going to possess the Edomites, man. You know, possessing our enemies. Verse 19, out of Jacob shall come he that shall have dominion, and shall destroy him that remaineth of the city. Verse 20, and when he looked on Amalek, he took up his parable and said, Amalek was the first of all nations, but his latter end shall be that he perish forever. Yeah, because Amalek is the head tribe of the nations. You know, and that's what it's getting into, that Amalek shall perish forever, man. You know? And that's what's going to happen to them after they go into their slavery. You know? Come on. Now, that leads me to Numbers. The book of Numbers, chapter 35, and verse 33. So ye shall not pollute the land wherein ye are, for blood it defiled the land, and the land cannot be cleansed of the blood that is shed therein, but by blood of him that shed it. So that's how the land, that's how it's going to be cleansed, by the blood of him that shed it. So that's the only way that this land is going to be cleansed, because this land is defiled with blood. So when Yahawashi comes back with his angels in the chariots, he's going to cleanse this land and put kingdom of heaven on earth, like how I put in my lesson, how the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth. Khan. So that leads me to I want to get that Khan, yeah, that I think it was Deuteronomy. That's what I wanted to get. So this is Deuteronomy chapter 32. I'm going to start at verse 39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive, I wound, and I heal. Neither there is any that can deliver out of my hand. Yeah, because Yahawashi is the one that decides if you are alive the next day or if you die, man. He's the one that decides this, man. You know, like how it states, he kills, he makes alive, he wounds, and he heals. And neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So you can, he chooses this. He's doing this through Esau, Edom, to bring this judgment upon this Babylon, so-called America. You know, this place is spiritually Sodom in Egypt, in Rome. You know, it's likened onto these places. How I explained in my Kingdom of Heaven lesson, you know. Verse 40, for I will lift up my hand to heaven and say, I live forever. If I wet my glittering sword and my hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to my enemies, and I will reward them that hate me. And I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh, and that with the blood of the slain and of the captives from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen to the enemy. You know, that goes for our people too as well. You know, like in the book, like in Samuel, it shows the examples when they would have counsel. You know, that our enemies would be forgiven after that counsel, but for when they go too far, you know, they're cut off. You know, look at what happened to Saul. You know, as well. Come. And yeah, like that's judgment on our enemies, man. You know, through the sword. The modern day sword today is the guns, but we know the other sword is known as destruction, man. We know that nuclear fires coming to this place and these ICBMs, man, these missiles. You know, I'll get into that as well. The book of Psalms, chapter 7. And I'm gonna start at verse 9. Oh, let the wickedness of the wicked come to an end, but establish the just. For the righteous God trieth the hearts and reins. Yeah, because Yahawashi tries the righteous. That's how we get refined as gold is refined in the fire. We got to go through these trials and tribulations, you know? Because he tries, like how it says, he tries the hearts and reins, you know? And the wicked come to an end, you know? Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4, it tells you that Esau is the wicked, you know? Esau, the so-called white man, you know? And you know that Esau is the so-called white man by in the book of Genesis, it tells you he came out red as a hairy garment. And you know, Edom, it goes on to is as red, man. Who is the white man, so-called white man today that you know that gets red? You know, come on. You know, it's plain and simple. So in verse 10, my defense is of God, which saveth the upright in heart. You know, and our defense is Yahawah. You know, he's the one who saves the upright. You know, he's the one who's going to save the elect in these last days. You know, verse 11, for God judgeth the righteous, and God is angry with the wicked every day. Yeah, he's angry with the wicked every day, you know, and that goes with the so-called, that goes on with the 2/3 as well of our nation, because they're the ones doing wickedness too, you know? You know, that they're not coming back onto repentance while we're out here, you know, trying to find the lost sheep of the house of Israel, you know. That's why he's angry with the wicked every day, you know. He's gonna come cleanse the land, you know, because it's defiled with blood, like how I read in that Numbers 35, chapter 35, verse 33, you know. So verse 12, if he turn not, he will whet his sword, and he had bent his bow and made it ready. You know, yeah, because he bent his bow and make it ready. You know, and you know, how I stated, man, what the bows are, man. Yeah, because the bows, yeah, they're the shallows what hold the missile, you know, and that's why I had to get into that to explain what they are. So the bow's ready, man, and he had prepared for him the instruments of death, and he ordained his arrows against the persecutors. You know, the arrows are these missiles, man. You know, I got a perfect example for it right here, man. As you can see, you know, right there, man. Revelation 9:16, man, explains it, that one warhead contains hundreds of war heads within it, man. That was when the Apostle John, Revelation 9:16 and 19, when he saw the vision of the nuclear missiles, you know. I'll get that as well. This is Revelation chapter 9 and verse 16. And the number of army of the horsemen were 200,000, and I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them, having breastplates of fire, of jacinth and brimstone, and heads of horses were as heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke of brimstone. So yeah, he's getting into it right there. He's explaining it. And by these three was the third part of the men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by out of the brimstone which issued of their mouth. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. So yeah, he's explaining the missiles, like I said. I'll show it again. You know? That's the missiles right there. You know, and they have a rail garrison car where these trains transport missiles underground to the silos where they're shot, man. And yeah, then that's what I just read is what John saw in the vision of the nuclear missiles, using the term of his day, man. He explained it using the terms of his day, man. He explained it, and that's what's coming, man. Those ICBMs, man. Yeah, because you want to be hid in those days. So I want that leads me to this. It's the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2, and verse 1. Gather yourselves together, gather together, O nation not desired, before the decree bring forth, before the days pass as the chaff, before the fierce anger of Yahawah come upon you, before the day of Yahawah's anger come upon you. Seek ye Yahawah, all ye meek of the earth, which have wrought his judgment. Seek righteousness, seek meekness, and it may be ye shall be hid in the day of Yahawah's anger. So yeah, that's what you have to seek in these last days. Like how it states in Matthew chapter 5, right? The meek shall inherit the earth. And we got to seek meekness, because the meek shall inherit the earth. That's why in the scriptures state, man, when you talk with meekness, man. You know, just paraphrasing, you know, and that's how we'll be hid in the day of Yahweh B'Shem Yahawah's anger, because we'll be of the elect, and it'll hide us in that day, you know. Like, that leads me to Psalms chapter 25. It's the book of Psalms chapter 25. And I'm going to start at verse 7. Remember not the sins of my youth, nor my transgressions, according to thy mercy. Remember thou me for thy goodness' sake, O Yahawah. Good and upright is Yahawah. Therefore he will teach sinners in the way. The meek will he guide in judgment, and the meek will he teach his way. You know, that's what that's getting into, man. Verse 10, all the paths of Yahawah are mercy and truth unto such as keep his covenant and his testimonies. You know, because you want to keep his testimonies, man. Yahawashi and keep his truth. Because you want to worship him in spirit and in truth. You know, like as the scriptures say, you know, in Khan, because the meek he will guide in judgment, and the meek he will teach in his way, man. That's why I'm going to get that Matthew chapter 5, what I paraphrased, you know. This is Matthew chapter 5 in verse 5. Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. You know, and that's what that's getting into, man. He was quoting it from the book of Psalms, man. You know, he was quoting David. This is Psalms chapter 37 and verse 11. But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Verse 12, the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Yahawah shall laugh at him, for he seeth that his day is coming. You know, the wicked have drawn out the sword, and have bent their bow to cast down the poor and the needy, to slay such as the upright at conversation. Their sword shall enter their own heart, and their bow shall be broken. A little that a righteous man hath is better than the riches of many wicked. Yeah. Verse 17, for the arms of the wicked shall be broken, but Yahawah upholdeth the righteous. And yeah, that's what it's getting into, man. The arms of the wicked shall be broken, man. You know, that leads me to Proverbs, because they're going to be broken, man. You know, and their riches aren't going to count for nothing, man. Riches profit nothing in the day of wrath. You know, this is Proverbs chapter 14, verse 11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. You know, and that's what that's getting into, man. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown. You know, that leads me to Isaiah. It's the book of Isaiah, chapter 43, and I'm going to read verse 5. Fear not that I am with thee. I will bring thy seed from the east, and gather thee from the west. I will say to the north, give up, and to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, and my daughters from the ends of the earth. So God, yeah. So according to these Christians, man, they're saying that they're already here, man. But it's telling you that it has to be brought from the four corners of the earth, man. So it has to be the four corners of the earth, you know. And it's telling the north that's Babylon, you know, to give up, you know, North America and NATO as well, the North Atlantic Trade Organization, man, you know. Yeah, because the oppressors of Israel are not going to be forgiven, man. You know. Yeah, because our people, they try to say that Yahawashi, they don't say the name, of course, but they say God. He knows the heart, you know. And yeah, getting into that, man. The heart, he does know the heart, because the heart is wickedness, as it says in Jeremiah chapter 17. I'm gonna bring that out. This is Jeremiah chapter 17 and verse 9. The heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. Who can know it? So yeah, you know, Yahawashi is telling you right there that the heart is deceitful. So if you say, God knows my heart, the heart is deceitful. So and above all things, it's desperately wicked, you know? So you can't use that as an excuse, man. You know, and that's what our people, they like to have an excuse to sin. You know, and then that's why that leads me to the book of Sirach. Let me bring that out. Sirach, bear with me. I thought I was. This is the book of Sirach, chapter. The book of Sirach, chapter 32. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 32, and verse 17. A sinful man will not be reproved, but will findeth an excuse according to his will. So yeah, that's what a sinful man does. He doesn't want to be reproved. He doesn't want to be taught. You know, he doesn't want to be corrected. You know, and he'll findeth the excuse according to his will, because that's what a lot of our people do. They find excuses to sin. You know, and that's not of the ways of Yahawashi. You're gonna be destroyed for that. Yeah, because a lot of people, they think that, like how it said in Psalms 37, that Yahawashi is going to laugh at you. That's right, he is going to laugh at you. Because you didn't want to take heed to this word when you had that grace period. So let's get but before I get that, I want to get this. This is Zephaniah chapter 3 and verse 5. The just Yahawah is in the midst thereof, and he will not do iniquity. He will not do iniquity. Every morning doeth he bring his judgment to light. He faileth not, but the unjust knoweth no shame. And yeah, he bringeth Yahawashi bringeth judgment every day. So that's what that's getting into, man. Every morning, someone dies. Someone dies every hour. Yahawashi brings judgment every morning. You know? He brings this judgment to light. But the unjust knoweth no shame. And that's getting into the wicked, man. They don't know the shame. And that's going in with the 2/3 in these other nations, man. They don't know no shame. They just want to keep sinning, man. They just want to continue to be wicked. You know, and this place is about to get humbled, man. You know, as the scriptures say in like Isaiah chapter 2, man. And this leads me to Job. I want to get out Job. This is the book of Job, chapter 4, and verse 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? You know, and where were the righteous? Yeah, righteous cut off. That ain't happening, man. Righteous ain't getting cut off, man. You only perish if that's why it says whoever's ever perished being innocent, because no, it don't happen. You perish for not being innocent, man. And that's why I say that the Yahawashi bringing judgment every morning. Like how I said in Zephaniah chapter 3, verse 5. Because your iniquity is what's causing you to be put to death, man. And this is verse 8. Even as I have seen, they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same. And by the blast of God they perish, and by the breath of his nostrils are they consumed. And yeah, that's what it's getting into. By the breath of their nostrils, they're consumed, man. You're gonna be consumed. That's how you're gonna be consumed, by the blast of Yahawashi. You know, through that fire. Just for us reaping what you sow, like how it says in verse 8. You're sowing wickedness, you're gonna reap the same, man. It's gonna lead you into the lake of fire, man, Gehenna. That leads me to Proverbs chapter 29, verse 18, where there is no vision, the people perish, but he that keepeth the law, happy is he. Yeah, because our people, they want to see a vision, you know. But, you know, that goes into the book of Matthew as well, when Yahawashi told the Pharisees, man, you know, only a wicked and adulterous people seeketh after a vision, man. And that's why he said, I will give you the prophet Jonas, man. Because 3 days and 3 nights, Jonas was in the belly, and that's likened unto Yahawashi, man. You know, that's that similitude, man. Because he was as Jonas was 3 nights in the belly and came out. That's how Yahawashi was resurrected, man. He was resurrected on the 3rd day. Yeah. Yeah, because they try to say that they're not gonna Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is not gonna reap what he sows. And it is not gonna. They try to say, "Oh, my forefathers did that. I'm not accounted for it." Well, this is Isaiah chapter 14 and verse 21. Prepare the slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise, nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. But yeah, this is what this is getting into in the Isaiah 14 and 21, man. Prepare the slaughter for his children, for the iniquity of their fathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Yeah, they're gonna reap what their forefathers did, man. That's reincarnation, because they're out here today in this world, man. You know, and that leads me to because that's all that goes into reincarnation, man. Because we're serving what we did from our forefathers, right? You know, that's what we're getting. It's like it. We're going through this. We're going through these curses because what our forefathers went through. So they got to go through what their forefathers went through. You know, because it's nothing new under the sun. What hath been shall be now. You know. Job. This is Job chapter 27, verse 14. If his children be multiplied, it is for the sword, and his offspring shall not be satisfied with bread. You know, that's what it's getting into, man. His children will be it's for the sword. You know, his babies are going to be killed, man. His offspring shall not be satisfied with bread, man. You know? That's what's going to happen. There's another one. Yeah, here's another one. This is Job chapter 21, verse 19. God layeth up the iniquity for his children. He rewardeth him, and he shall know it. His eyes shall see his destruction, and he shall drink of the wrath of the Almighty. You know, and that's what's going to happen. He's gonna drink of that cup. You know, his children are gonna receive it. You know, that's what it's getting into, man. He's gonna receive the iniquity of his forefathers, and his children are gonna get that. Khan. Yes. His children. They're gonna get that. It's that reward. And they shall know it, and they're gonna be put to death. You know, like how I read in Job 27:14 as well. That's just precept upon precept, bro. Yeah, because this is precept upon precept as well. This is Psalms chapter 11. You know, Yahawah trieth the righteous, like I said before in that the other precept. You know, Yahawah B'Shem Yahawashi trieth the righteous, man. But the wicked and him that loveth violence, his soul hateth. Yeah, because he hated the wicked, man, day and day, like how it said in Psalms chapter 7, verse 6. Upon the wicked he shall rain snares, fires, and brimstone, and horrible tempest, and this shall be the portion of their cup. For the righteous Yahawah loveth righteousness, his countenance doth will hold the upright. So you can't. Yeah, they're going to drink of that cup. That's what that's getting into in that verse 6. The wicked shall drink of that cup. You know? Because they love violence, you know? And his soul hateth it, man. Yeah, because they're going to drink of that cup, you know? That's the portion of their cup. Back that up. Yeah, because this is Psalms chapter 75 in verse 7. But Yahawashi B'Shem Yahawashi is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. Because Yahawashi B'Shem Yahawashi is the one who's in control of all this. Like in that Deuteronomy 32 and 39, he decides if you live or be put to death. He's the one that's going to decide right there that if he setteth up one and putteth another down. You know? God. You know, verse 8, for in the hand of Yahawah there is a cup, and the wine is red, and is full of mixture, and he poureth out the same. But the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth, shall wring them out and drink them. Because, yeah, they're going to drink of this cup, man. You know? That's what that's getting into. You know? Precept upon precept. You know? They're going to drink of this cup, man. Let me get another one on that, and then I'm going to wrap this up. God. Yeah, they're going to drink of that cup for surely. You know, I made a lesson on this as well. In you know, like how it also states in the book of Lamentations, you know, they're going to drink of that cup, man. It says in Obadiah as well. You know, I did a lesson on this on in the what's it called? The Deuteronomy 23:7. You know, because you know that's talking about a Syrian. It's not talking about an Edomite. You know, and this is Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 10. But I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places. And he shall not be able to hide himself. And his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Yeah, because Esau is bare right now. All his wickedness is being discovered, man. You know, everything's getting uncovered. You know? Everybody's knowing that this Esau Edom, the so-called white man, what he's what his true intentions are, what he really does behind the scenes. Verse 11, leave thy fatherless children, and I will preserve them alive, and let thy widow trust in me. For thus saith Yahawah, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. And art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Those shall not go unpunished, but those shall surely drink of it. So yeah, con. So because we drank of that cup, getting put into slavery. Now they're gonna drink of that cup, man. And they're not gonna go unpunished. They're gonna drink of it. They're gonna get that punishment. You know, recompense from Yahawashi. For I have sworn by myself, saith Yahawah, that Bozar shall become a desolation, a reproach, a waste, and a curse. And the cities thereof shall be perpetual wastes. Yeah, this place is going to be desolate, man. You know, it's like how it tells you in the book of Revelation, chapter 18, that only the animals are going to be the desert animals are going to be able to be here, because it's going to be desolate. Just paraphrasing. But yeah, Esau, Edom is going to drink of that cup, in these other nations, man. They're going to be put into slavery for what they did to our people. Con. They're not gonna go. They're not gonna go unpunished. They're gonna be punished for what they did to the 12 tribes of Israel. If you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah. This is I'm gonna end it off with this. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. Because my phone is about to die. Yeah, I'm on 10%. Yeah. I forgot the other one. It's all good though. So this is Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. This is Matthew chapter 26 and verse 6. Now when Yahawashi was in Bethany in the house of Simon the leper, there came unto him a woman having an alabaster box of very precious ointment, and poured it on his head as he sat at meat. And when his disciples saw it, they had indignation, saying, to what purpose is this waste? For this ointment might have been sold for much and given to the poor. When Yahawashi understood it, he said unto him, I trouble ye the woman, for she had wrought a good work upon me. For ye have the poor always with you, but me ye have not always. For in that she had poured this ointment on my body, she did it for my burial. Verily I say unto you, wheresoever this gospel shall be preached in the whole world, there shall also this, that this woman had done, be told for a memorial of it. And with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise to Yahawashi. Peace, salutation to the hopeful elect, scattered abroad across the four corners of the earth, learning or teaching this gospel in truth and sincerity. Shalom.